Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're reacting to That Time Pirates Started a Country. Yeah, they did. They did it once in 18th century. So we're going to find out what happened there and how it stopped to exist, I guess. The video is made by Historically, you know. And yeah, let's begin. Okay.
Quick, leave your stupid farmer job and become a privateer.
Oh yes, privateers. Yeah, that literally happened. Like, many people became privateers just because of the war that happened between England and France over Spain, I guess. I think that was the case here.
Make sure France doesn't become a global superpower.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks guys. The War of the Spanish Succession is over. Well, I suppose that I gotta thank you somehow. You're fired. Get out.
Yeah, that literally did happen. So they got all of those privateers, right? And they were like, okay, war is over, get out. And guess what the privateers did? So the privateers bought a lot of weapons and ships. So they did the thing known as piracy. That's how you get pirates, basically. Like, you get, like, you get like private navy, military, basically, right? You stopped paying them because war happened, right? And the ships are basically useless without the war, right? And thus we create the situation known as piracy. Yeah. Either that or you're in Somalia and you're broke. That's also the case for Somalian pirates, for example.
Well, that sucks. What are we supposed to do with all these warships, cannons, and not vitamin C's that we bought ourselves? We could start our own pirate republic.
Okay, so this is something that I do remember. Okay, so this place here, you might know it, you might not know it. It's Bahamas, you know? The place that's literally next to Florida, north of Cuba, basically, you know? Yeah, and I believe what they're pointing here at might be Nassau, currently nowadays it's the capital city of Bahamas, the country, right? And that might be it. And I think it might have been like they might have set up stuff there, you know, the main operation base kind of thing. I'm not sure about that, but we're gonna find out.
On the strategically placed island of Nassau. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And so, over 1,500 battle-hardened Spanish and now British-hating lads sailed across the globe ready to claim their new hangout spot. And they quite literally just claimed it, even though it's one of the most strategically important spots in the Atlantic. Let's talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, I would actually like to know about that, because, like, I don't know the importance of Nassau. Like, why is it so important? Like, it's a place, I know that, but, like, why is it so important?
Hi, my name is Pirate Oliver. I like pirates. Historically Facts, Part 12. Alright, so how did this pirate country start? Well, the year is 1666, 35 years before the War of the Spanish Succession. Or rather...
that's a while back.
A war about which powerful family gets to own Spain and its territory.
Yeah, so you had the feud between Bourbon, so the French, and Habsburgs, so the Austrians, basically.
Which was a lot. It was a time of peace, international friendship, and who am I kidding? Every major power was 24/7 raiding each other's colonies and ships.
Yeah.
One day, in 1666, a young Brit almost banks his ship on the shallow shores of a very conveniently positioned island. He names it, very patriotically, Charlestown, named after the King of England. Charles II?
The second.
Odd name. He starts gathering his friends, and
Charles II.
slowly and surely, they build a fort. A small town to make it truly Charlestown and not Charles Rock, and start to trade with the nearby locals. It's a nice, cute, little colonial community. Shame I'm going to burn it down, says the Spanish admiral in 1684, and he did.
Alright, that was a case as well. I actually forgot about that, because I read somewhere about it, that the Charlestown over here, you know, did get burned down. So yeah, and it was by the Spanish. And that caused a war, I think.
The whole town was turned to charcoal, and the colonists were bullied off the island. But just like cockroaches, the British popped up again. And to throw the Spanish off, this time they named the island Nassau, named after the recently appointed Protestant King of England, William III. I don't get it. Willem was part
I don't get it either.
of the Nassau
Oh.
Yeah, that makes sense. The British
Okay, that does make sense now. Because I was like, huh? What was that? What that got to do with that? Like, I'm confused. And then it's like, oh, Nassau family. Okay, that makes sense now. Don't know who they were. No idea.
rebuilt the Wall Island, slapped a fancy, stronger fort on top, and audibly laughed at the Spanish every time they tried to take the island. Fast forward to the 1700s, and
Then the French get the island at that point. By the 1700s, yeah.
we are now in the early stages of the War of the Spanish Succession. England is still laughing at Spain's attempt to reclaim the island, but then Big Bro jumps in to help Spain, and the island gets flattened a second time. This time, they made sure to spray French artifacts everywhere. You know, so those annoying Brits wouldn't return. With the Wall Island flattened again, it became abandoned. Technically, it was under British rule, but in practice, there was no government, no defense, and no law. Just
that actually makes sense now why they actually set up the country in that place, because there's no governments. So that means it's just free land for anybody. Okay.
Beautiful port, empty buildings, and broken walls. Yep, don't mind me, I'm just selling rum. Oh no. Run! Ever heard of Blackbeard? How about Jack Rackham?
Hey, that's me.
Maybe Charles Vane. All these pirate legends had their pirate careers from Nassau.
Oh.
Even the most known pirate flag is from Nassau itself. But just like a crew needs a captain, Nassau needed a pirate governor. Meet, and I'm not making this name up, Benjamin Hornigold. You couldn't get a more piratey name even if you tried.
I mean, that's quite the piratey name. Not gonna lie, that's quite the pirate name.
As a privateer turned pirate, he looked at the chaos that was unfolding on the island and said, alright, enough is enough. If we want this all to work out, we need to put some rules on the ground. He gathers the captains, tells them to put the swords down and to stop headbutting over whose pirate is actually cooler, and finally start building what would become the world's first accidentally democratic pirate commune. And the pirates? They listened. Effectively, Hornigold forged himself into becoming the first president of the Pirate Republic. His first act as president was to enforce rules. For example, from now on, crews voted for their captains, no longer the loudest.
Oh yeah, that is actually true. So that is actually one thing that is like quite often overlooked when you think about pirates is the fact that at some point, like they went from the system of being like, you know, authoritarian basically, like, you know, you have the top dog and then everybody is under the top dog basically, to the system of like electing the leader. And well, that sometimes worked out, sometimes it did not, because at some point, sometimes you get the cases of 50-50. Like, some people would follow the old leader and then some people would follow the new leader. Or maybe there's a case of 60-40, where when you would have a mutiny on the ship, basically, sometimes. Well, in the case of 50-50, it's the case of literally, like, the people literally splitting apart into, like, you know, probably, like, one gets a ship, the other doesn't, and then, you know, you go from there.
Guy gets to automatically be the leader. Another big reform was that loot was now to be shared fairly. And most reforming of them all, if you lost, for example, a leg during battle, you got compensated for the work hazard.
Okay.
But Hornigold, for all his pirateness, had one very weird quirk. He refused to attack English ships. Like, he would happily rob a Spanish galleon blind, torch a French sloop, and pants a Dutch merchant captain in broad daylight. But if you were flying the Union Jack, he would tip his hat and say, "Cheerio, mate," which was a little awkward, considering the entire point of Nassau was to sticking it to the British Empire. So, after ruling the pirate country...
I feel like this might have been quite smart, because, like, okay, if you start looting the English and then they realize, well, you are utilizing their island, they would come back and be like, get out, you know, and that would be massacre and the island would be burned down once again, basically. So, by not dealing with the British, basically, he was like, okay, calm, chill, just pass through, you know, nothing is happening here.
For 3 years, the pirates voted for a different president. And
Okay.
he was succeeded by none other than his spooky bearded apprentice, Edward Teach,
Oh.
aka Blackbeard. Blackbeard wasn't interested in building a republic, he was building a brand. He lit fuses in his beard. strapped pistols across his chest, and draped himself in black like a pirate in Batman. Okay, show off, you might think, but this whole brand building was actually genius. The stories of him and his crew became known all across the Atlantic. Everyone was afraid of the pirate maniac.
He became so famous that he's like literally in media everywhere. Like, if you think Pirates of the Caribbean, you'd think, well, there is a probably character that resembles Blackbeard. You think One Piece, there is literally a Blackbeard. There's like even Blackbeard as Edward Teach would be quite often, like, you know, talked about in games as well, and many such cases. You know, like, he's a very popular media icon.
Merchant ships surrendered the moment they saw his flag, practically donating the loot. Nassau flourished under Blackbeard's rule. The harbor filled with ships, markets popped up selling stolen cargo, bedroom, and maybe one or two cursed objects. Pirates of all flags poured into Nassau. British, Irish, American, Afro-Caribbean, even a few confused Scandinavians. Nassau had to become the Las Vegas of the Atlantic. No rules, no kings, and definitely no taxes. Cool, said Blackbeard during his third year as a president. Anyway, I'm bored. So he sailed north, made deals, blockaded entire ports, and left the Republic in somewhat capable hands? Well, not more capable than the sponsor of this video.
Oh, an ad.
I like writing about pirates. And
oh, actually, okay. Hear me out. This thing here, amazing, okay? I'm actually, like, I'm not sponsored by them, by the way, but this thing here helped me during university, bro. I was like, okay, come on, buddy, help me out. How does this sound? Bunch of errors. Okay, fix it. Like, this is like the peak of, you know, just like fixing text for me, at least.
I guess about history too. But grammar is hard, man.
It is hard. Like, okay. Do you remember all the commas? I don't remember where I put my commas. I only remember where I put my full stops at best. I know where I put my colons if I try.
Especially because I'm Dutch, so I'm basically handicapped. That's where Quillbot comes in. It's an AI writing tool that helps you rewrite, rephrase, and polish your sentences. You just paste your text in, and Quillbot gives you smarter, cleaner versions.
If you need like okay, if you're the type of person that's not using AI fully to, you know, do basically university stuff, right? And you actually do it by hand, pretty much, like, you know, you actually write it down yourself and do the research yourself, you know, then, and you're like, oh my days, I can't handle all of the grammar, man, there's so many bloody errors. You just throw, like, you know, through a sentence, like, okay, you write a sentence, like maybe a full paragraph, couple of paragraphs maybe, you know, and you throw it into the Quillbot, boom, fixed. You know?
No more losing arguments because of typos. It also checks your grammar.
Honestly, I'm so glad this thing actually, like, has become quite popular nowadays, I guess. Because back when I was using it, back in 2024, it was there, you know?
Spelling, and even helps with site.
If they ever want to, like, honestly, if Quillbot here, you know, the company behind it, ever need somebody to, like, sponsor it, like, you know, they want to, like, you know, offer a sponsorship or something, I'm here. I would, like, be like, give me the money. Just, like, you know, sponsorship.
Which is great if you like.
I wonder if they actually, like, added more languages, to be honest, because if they did, I'm really going to be using it again at some point.
Essays, or forced to because of university.
Yeah.
The best part? It doesn't steal your gold. There's a free version you can start with right now. Just open your Chrome, install Quillbot as an extension with basically one click, and suddenly, life is good again. Seriously, it's free to try out. Just click the link in the description and give it a shot. If you don't like it, just get rid of it. Just like Blackbeard got rid of his presidency.
Yeah.
Anyway, meet the third and most radical president of the Pirate Republic, Charles Vane. Imagine if anger had a body, yeah, that was Charles Vane. While Hornigold was the rule maker and Blackbeard was the showman, Vane was the edgelord extremist.
He was literally the cause why the freaking thing like literally collapsed upon itself, I think.
I believe the only good British ship was a burning one, and diplomacy was for cowards and poets. Cool. No wait, not cool. In 1718, the year when Vane got president, there was a massive influx of pirate settlers due to the massive layoffs in the European countries. Everyone went to Nassau, which the King of England, Willem III, started to notice due to literally every ship sailing towards America. Salutations! Yar, ya scallywag. Where are ye sailing to? Cringe? How dare you address your king like... where are we sailing off to, matey? Haven't you heard? Nassau has become the place for all the privateers who got laid off.
Oh, yes.
We're going to start our own pirate country, with blackjack and cookers. The king can stick it up his arse for having us fight all this time for his country, just to fire us the day after. Oh, I see. Alright, thank you. Hey, how's that for up your arse, huh? Now that the teacher knows about their cool hideout, the Nassau boys were getting a bit anxious. Sure, they can plunder a merchant ship or two, but roll your army? That's not an easy fight. Worst yet, more and more warships started to appear on the horizon, and leading those ships was Woodes Rogers. But before we get to him, let's check in with our pirate president Charles Vane, who was, at this point, having a little moment.
What am I going to do now? Oh.
Charles wasn't much of a surrender guy, or a talking guy, or a not burning things guy. So when Woodes Rogers politely sailed into Nassau and asked, "Hey lads, maybe stop being criminals?" Vane responded by lighting his ship in the harbor on fire and sending it straight at him. Is this our plan? It wasn't, but Charles thought it was. But Charles thinks a lot of things, to be honest.
I mean, smart if you had like a bunch of like tiny boats, not smart if you had like a big ass ship, basically. Like if you're gonna send like a bunch of like tiny boats into them that are like on fire, you're gonna set them on fire. So that would be smart. But if you're sending one big ship, well, there's one big ship that like might burn like maybe an ever ship, basically.
One guy
waste of money.
Especially not loving the flaming ship as diplomacy approach was Charles's quartermaster, a guy named Jack Rackham. You might know him better as Calico Jack, named after his favorite fabric and least favorite survival instincts. Jack had been Vane's right-hand man for months now. He'd seen the screaming, he'd seen the fire, he'd seen the moment Charles tried to headbutt a seagull for looking at him wrong, and Jack, credit where it's due, had his concerns. Sure, Charles started out as a fiery, brutal pirate, inspiring others, and probably got to be president because of that. But recently, he was off. For example, a couple months prior, they were on this massive warship of theirs, and about to plunder a teeny-tiny French merchant ship, which they absolutely could have taken. Charles made the call to back off due to the risks of losing. That's not very captain-y-like. He also got his ass whooped by a lesser drunk.
I feel like he might have been mentally disabled, or mentally ill, or mentally not okay.
His reputation yet again. And now finally, while a literal firing squad is on the horizon, ready to hang each and every pirate, instead of bargaining for the safety of the island's troublemakers, he basically declared war on them. New vote, new vote. And just like...
simple as that, just like, new election, yeah sure, let's do that. Okay, I'm the leader now.
Charles Vane was out. And his extra flamboyant sidekick was in. Meet the fourth and final president of the Pirate Republic. And the pirates couldn't have chosen a better president. Jack was an insanely skilled war general. He was so good, in fact, that modern historians compare him to legends like Hannibal and Alexander the Great.
Okay.
Jack called the pirates together, set up a combat plan, and absolutely crushed Woodes Rogers and his fleet. There were only 1,500 pirates on the island, but they could shoot really well, I tell you. Then, feeling ambitious, the pirates sailed and laid siege to England.
That's the failure here. You don't siege England. You don't do that. Like, many have tried. Only ones that actually managed to do that somewhat successfully were the Vikings. But the Vikings came from the other side of the country. They came literally from, east. If you come from the west, well, you're gonna get Wales and Cornwall. So you're gonna basically have nothing.
Though they were outnumbered by 1 to 1,000, they destroyed the British defenses and captured England,
Okay.
effectively renaming it to the United Pirate Kingdom. Then, after stumbling into Oppenheimer and Heisenberg at the same time,
I mean, that's quite the story here.
just finished their nuclear bomb, they threw it on Spain and France, and everyone died. The end. No, wait, this isn't an alternative history video.
Oh.
Let's rewind a bit. And he liked tomboys, which isn't just a throwaway joke. It's historically accurate. See, Jack Rackham fell in love with Anne Bonny, who was a female pirate who, due to sexism on the work floor, disguised herself as a man. And later Jack also fell in love with Anne's bestie, Mary Red, who also disguised herself as a man. Both of them carried swords, both of them could absolutely destroy you in a bar fight, and both of them, for some unfathomable reason, liked Jack back. It was an unfathomable reason because Jack was probably the worst pirate that ever existed. He put all his skill points in charisma and 0 in leadership and war tactics. He couldn't fight on equal grounds and only preyed on smaller merchant ships.
I guess that's why I didn't get like I don't know the guy basically. I mean, based that he was into tomboys, not so based that he I guess screwed up. I thought he would like maybe manage to like kind of figure out how to handle the British ships because he had like all those pirates on the island, but like. And I thought like maybe he was a madman that decided to sail into England. That would probably cause a election in pirate community, probably, to be honest, if you think about it now. Like everything up to like I know that the island basically was like just like taken back by the English, and that's like it for it. Like pirate like the story that I know: England, France, pirates, England.
And you best bet your ass that he could in no way shape...
Oh, actually, and even before that, before England, there's also Spain. Spanish did have, like, the Bahamas at some point, I think.
...or form beat Woodes Rogers and his royal backing. If Rogers wanted to, he could have at any time signaled his fleet to attack, and without a shiver of doubt, killed each pirate on the island. But Rogers was sympathetic. He was a privateer himself during the Spanish Succession War, and he himself was a victim of corporate downsizing. During the war, he led one of the most successful privateering expeditions in British history. He circumnavigated the globe, captured Spanish treasure ships, and came home to parades and praise. Naturally, the government thanked him by the only way it knew how. By, instead of firing him, they forgot about him and let him go bankrupt. He sank all his money into the war effort, didn't get reimbursed properly, and ended up in debtor's prison for a bit. But then, in classic Empire logic, the British were like, "Hey Woods, remember that pirate problem we ignored for a decade? Wanna go fix it?" And Rogers said, "Sure, can I have my money back?" The British said no, but if you can get rid of them, you can be the governor. May you drown in your teacup. Alright, fine, I'll do it. Long story short, Rogers knew how it feels to be betrayed by the same country you fought 12 years for, and understood why his war comrades turned to piracy in the times of need. So, he sent them an ultimatum. If you surrender, we will pardon you of any crime you've committed, basically allowing you to start with a clean slate. However, if you don't, you'll know what happened.
Ooh.
And the fourth president, Jack Rackham, he felt like he just hit the net 20 roll on that charisma check. What a lucky escape. And so, Calico Jack, pirate president and certified tomboy enthusiast, stood before Woodes Rogers and said, "Absolutely, sir. Thank you, sir. Piracy? Never heard of it, sir." He took the pardon, signed his name, posed dramatically, probably blew a kiss, and promised to never touch another ship again. 2 months later, he stole a sloop from Nassau's own harbor and went straight back to pirating, like the whole pardon thing had just been a dream. I mean, bless Rogers' heart, but we're talking about pirates here. They were once esteemed privateers, but after more than 10 years on a pirate island, you will slowly develop a "frick you, I do what I want" mentality. Anyway, after Jack and many others in July of 1718 accepted the pardon, the Pirate Republic of Nassau was officially dead. Playtime's over, lads. Go home to your wife and kids. We left for bloody 12 years. But now comes the fun part. What happened to our main characters? Did they all take the deal? Or did some, Charles Vane, flip them off and continue pirating? Well, let's go down the list, shall we?
Okay.
Charles Vane did not take the deal at all. In fact, when offered the king's pardon, he reportedly said, "I would rather die a pirate than live like a servant."
Okay.
Bold words for a man who would, shortly after, be abandoned by his own crew.
That's quite the story here, you know, like literally the story of a madman over there, you know, like okay, no deal, no. Off the deal, I'm gonna be a pirate, and then yeah, like the pirates were like, get out, you know.
Yep, after a series of bad calls and even worse luck, Vane lost his ship, lost his men, and got captured. He was shipped back to Jamaica, where the government gave him exactly what he asked for: death. They hanged him in 1721. He died as he lived, angrily. Blackbeard also did not take the pardon, but he played the game longer. He kept raiding ships of the Carolinas, made shady deals with corrupt governors, and even threw a retirement party for himself at one point. It didn't help. The British Navy eventually caught up with him. In 1718, he was ambushed and killed in a brutal battle. It reportedly took 5 bullets and over 20 sword wounds to bring him down.
Okay, but he died like a proper man, I would say. Like, compared to the other guy, this is actually kind of based, not gonna lie.
And then they chopped off his head and hung it from the bow of their ship. You know, for vibes. Horny God, plot twist, he did take the pardon. Not only that, but he switched sides. Hornigold went from pirate president to pirate hunter. He spent the last years of his life capturing his former friends and delivering them to the British. I guess karma took that somewhat personal, because not much later, he died in a shipwreck in 1719. Yikes. Jack Rackham? We already know how that went. He got pardoned, then pirated again, and surprise surprise, then got captured. His execution wasn't exactly cinematic. He was caught drunk, tried by court, and hanged like an amateur. But let's talk about the real stars. Anne Bonny and Mary Red. They fought like hell when the British came. Legend says they were the only 2 crew members still on their feet when the ship was boarded. Jack was passed out drunk. They were furious. The girls were both captured and sentenced to hang, but both bleeded the belly, claimed to be pregnant. It worked for Anne and she got out scot-free, but not for Mary, who died in prison. Anne disappeared from the records. Some say she died shortly after, some say she lived a quiet life. Some say she disguised herself again and became a tree this time. Nothing. Was cleaned up, fortified, and turned into a proper colony under Woodes Rogers.
Okay, that's like quite an interesting story, to be honest. Like, how should I say this? Like, you don't usually hear about like these parts of like history, I would say. Like, you know that there are pirates, like, you know, Blackbeard, basically. Like, the other 3 is like, maybe enthusiasts would know.
It was rebuilt, the pirates were gone, and over time, the Republic faded into legend. I like pirates.
Good on you. But yeah, I like the video. Oh yeah, I'm gonna subscribe. I like the video, honestly. Like, I knew some stuff about the Pirate Republic. I knew that where it was. I knew, like, you know, that you know, it was around the time of Blackbeard. I actually knew that Blackbeard was a leader of the island at some point. Like, it's good that you had we learned about, like, you know, the structure and how it functioned, basically, because, like, it's interesting to think about it. Like, you think, like, you know, you can hear the stories of, like, you know, there were those countries, those weird countries that existed, you know, like Pirate Republic and stuff like that, you know, and then when you, like, think about it, like, it's like, it sounds like a proper country, you know, just like a little bit less of, like, you know, the whole, you know, law thing, you know, a little bit more of the whole drinking, gambling, and, well, crime thing, you know. But yeah. The video itself was quite great, in my opinion. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, you can leave a like, comment down below, tell me what you thought, and what do you think about pirates? Do you like pirates? Actually, like, do you know, like, you know, like, are you, like, into pirates? I mean, like, when I say that, like, are you, like, a proper fan of, like, you know, pirates and history of pirates, you know? Like, tell me that. Like, I actually wonder. Because I have never, like, seen anybody be into, like, pirates that much, you know? So yeah, thank you for watching. See you another time. Goodbye.